In 1898, a young man by the name of Domenico arrived in the busy industrial city of Boston. His home country of Italy was stricken with violent conflict, famine, and inescapable class divides. So he weathered the long journey across the ocean with the hope of a better life. Domenico had no riches, no kin, and no knowledge of the English language, but he had his labor to sell, and in his heart he held the promise of America, that he could improve his own conditions through hard work. But he soon discovered that his dream was beyond his grasp. He walked up and down the cobblestone streets of Boston, knocking on the door of every business and each hiring hall. He was offered a wage of less than $1 a day for 12 hours of work, not enough to sustain himself. Laborers in Boston were crushed beneath the tight fist of a new kind of ruling class, the padrones. The system was simple and diabolical. The padrones bought tickets in bulk for the voyage from Italy to the United States and Canada. They jacked up the price and sold these tickets to those who were desperate for a new life, loaning them the money in the process. Some even owned the workers' housing and charged exorbitant rent. The padrones also ran the hiring halls, through which they placed their debtors in jobs for an additional finder's fee. The padrones conspired with employers to keep wages low. It made no difference whether you were under the thumb of a padrone or not. All workers fell victim to a corrupt system that trapped them in poverty wages. Fueled by outrage and the growing pangs of hunger, Domenico began to educate other immigrants about their rights and planned meetings for fellow laborers. The first organizing effort of the Boston laborers was to escape the padrones' poverty wages. Through collective bargaining, they were able to double their wages. From this effort, a local union was born. In the course of a few short years, they grew their membership to 2,000. With power in numbers, these laborers advocated for laws that dismantled the padrone system once and for all. In 1908, Domenico became the 5th general president of what we now call the Laborers' International Union of North America. During his presidency, membership grew from 10,000 members to 100,000 as immigrant laborers like himself came together and organized under one banner. More than 120 years later, these truths still remain. We are a union that was founded by immigrants. Our strength comes from our ability to organize. The fates of all workers are intertwined.
It's funny. So here we are. My first job was pumping gas. I was 15, going on 16. Minimum wage was $5 an hour, and I thought that was a lot of money back then. We used to sit there and talk and be like, "Could you imagine someday making $25 or $30 an hour?" And I'd be like, "There's no way. It's impossible." I said, "We're making $5 an hour now." But now here we are, 20-something years later, and I'm making $50 and change an hour. How can you beat that? I first heard about the RISE program at the hall. I saw it on the set schedule. You would see the class RISE 1, Foundation, RISE 2, Builder. I signed up for it, and then that's when I had my first RISE Foundation class.
The idea is to really go into our local unions and identify activists within every local union within our region.
The Laborers Rising campaign is a unique campaign that's currently going on within the Eastern region and the international. It'll take members, it'll help them develop their activism skills, their organizing skills, to be more empowered, to be more outspoken for the local as a whole and for the international.
The first time that Matthew came to our training, he was sitting to my left, and he just looked timid but curious.
I wasn't sure what to expect. I was nervous. I wasn't very versed in how to communicate with people. but communication skills aren't what they are today, and you build off of that slowly but surely.
I saw him just kind of progress and progress as he took the other trainings. Those are the members that get me the most excited. He's just a shining star in my opinion.
Some of the most useful skills that I've learned in RISE are the ability to listen as well as talk. Talking's easy, anybody can talk. It's when you're listening to somebody and actually hearing what they're saying and being receptive to what they're saying and engaging in conversation. Whether that person might be a proponent or an opponent of organized labor, helping sway their train of thought. Any member of LIUNA can be an organizer in their own right, but you could be at a Wawa or you could be at another convenience store and you could be talking to somebody who might work for a non-union contractor and you're going over the pluses versus the minuses. So that's organizing. That's for anybody. That's the beauty of it. We have 530,000 some odd members, somewhere around there. If every member went out and organized one member, how many members would we have? We'd have 1,060,000, right? Well, there's your million. It is important to the country for labor unions to have power and to have solidarity because it sets the tone for the economy. The economy is roughly based off of these prevailing wage jobs, these collective bargaining agreements, these benefit packages. With solidarity, you either get all of us or you get none of us. And you don't get us at half price. You're either gonna pay the full amount or you get nothing. And that's power. If I could send one message LIUNA-wide around the country to all the other laborers, I would tell them, keep going. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep doing your thing at the hall. Keep doing your thing in the field. We are one generation away from this all disappearing, and it's up to us.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on. Move to strike
I'd
the.
like to
I
strike
move to
those
strike the
words
lady's.
as well.
I move to
I would
strike
like order.
the lady's words again.
Politics can seem like a circus, but the politicians we vote for and the laws we advocate for matter. In 2020, laborers endorsed candidates up and down the ballot who promised to ensure that the clean energy future is union-made. And now, we got more job opportunities than ever before.
We're here at Sherco Solar in Becker, Minnesota. This project's supposed to be a 3-year project, and we got another one after this, and potentially up to 10 is what I've been hearing. So longevity is here for the next decade. The Inflation Reduction Act is going to make sure these jobs are done by skilled union members. The laborers are the driving force in a lot of this political movement. Biden's infrastructure plan has made it so I have a great job close to home. I'm very grateful for that.
Laborers are out here fighting the good fight, working with politicians to make sure infrastructure dollars create good jobs and benefit our communities. Like in Milwaukee, where we have a seat on the commission that ensures the region has clean water.
So we have a local committee here in the city of Milwaukee that oversees the water that we have access to, called MMSD, Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewage District. Through Joe Biden's presidency and the bipartisan infrastructure law, we're able to generate a lot more work through MMSD. Currently, we're doing lead lateral replacement. Before the bipartisan infrastructure law, it was going to take around 70 years to replace all lead laterals in the city of Milwaukee. And now, currently, we have about 5 signatory contractors consistently working to replace lead laterals throughout the city of Milwaukee. So we'll be reaching the end hopefully pretty soon.
The city of Milwaukee is laying the foundations for the future, and they're being laid with the building trades as an essential element. I want union quality to be a part of more and more projects in Milwaukee.
When it comes to working conditions, we're not shy about our demands. Laborers work hard to make sure politicians pass laws that protect us. When we see a problem, we step into the ring and end it.
I started laboring in 2010. It was very apparent that while construction was saying we want women in, the job sites were not saying that we are accessible for women. So we met with some Republicans and Democrats and talked about what were some common sense things that we could do. 2024, we were able to get House Bill 2266 passed. which made us the first state in the country to require menstrual products to be available on construction sites and to bring in more sanitary conditions for all workers, as well as breast pumping accommodations for new mothers. Really kind of shows how important politics are and being able to reach across the aisles and talk to both Democrats and Republicans about issues that all workers face, not just women.
Mallory laying down the law. Laborers are always the first to jump into the trenches. While others talk, we stand up and take action by fighting for pro-worker legislation and voting for champions who support us. We don't vote red or blue, we vote LIUNA orange. Local, state, and national politics, laborers have a seat at every table, because if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Now I want you to make sure these politicians feel the power.
And you've helped China make medicines in China, not Americans, to go and get on the social media.
Has politics got you down? Maybe you lost a friend or a loved one to cable news.
The threat that zombie raccoons may pose to this country.
Well, I got 3 factoids, guaranteed to turn that frown upside down. Factoid number 1. We finally got the bipartisan infrastructure law.
I'm just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill.
Not anymore, buddy.
What?
You got signed into law. I'm talking 1.2 trillion buckaroos to rebuild America's roads and bridges, water and energy infrastructure, and broadband access for everyone. Each pin here represents a newly funded project. But don't take it from me, just ask my guy Justin from Colorado.
The bipartisan infrastructure law means that we finally got funding to fix this highway. We're gonna do it with union labor.
We are talking 10 years of good paying union jobs. Oh yeah. Factoid number 2. Have you heard of something called the Inflation Reduction Act? This law gives tax credits to energy companies that pay a prevailing wage and hire through a registered apprenticeship program. It includes a Make It in America provision that sweetens the deal if they use American-made equipment. Now let's check in with our guy in the field, Omar from Wisconsin. Take it away.
I'm Omar Tamayo with Local 330. We're here at the Springfield Solar Project. The Inflation Reduction Act brought solar farms to this area, allowing us more construction jobs like this.
We are talking good union jobs and a clean energy future. Factoid number 3. A little something called the CHIPS and Science Act, signed by our president to incentivize microchip manufacturing. That's why we got these new factories popping up across the country. Let's check in with Brian, who's working on Intel's multi-factory mega project.
Without the CHIPS and Science Act, we'd be shipping this stuff off to China somewhere. It's really nice to be trying to help out the state and the country.
If you're building a wind farm, battery plant, chips factory, road, bridge, or other infrastructure project, one of these 3 historic pieces of legislation probably help get that project off the ground. With this pro-labor White House, laborers have a seat at the table, and we've been using it to make sure that the jobs that are created are good union jobs. It's thanks to laborers like you that the clean energy companies are paying workers fair wages, manufacturing is coming back to the USA, and our infrastructure is getting repaired. And I want you to keep it up. You're doing a great job. Get involved with your local union today.
It's finally time to repeal my state's prevailing wage law. They'll be working for peanuts. LIUNA, man! That's right! In a world where workers' rights are under attack, one man has the power to stop reckless corporations and the rat bastard politicians who take their money.
You've signed your last anti-worker law, Governor. Prepare to resign. one man? Really? I don't think so. No superheroes are going to swoop in and save the day. It's up to us to fend off the corporate Scrooges and greedy politicians who want to keep wages low. We've been the heroes of our own story for 120 years. It all started out of dire necessity when laborers worked 14-hour days, 6 days a week, in terrible conditions. With no safety measures, deaths were common on the job. Workers were considered disposable. One person alone couldn't take down these powerful bosses, so laborers stood together and found power in solidarity. They fought for fair wages, benefits, the 40-hour work week, and safe working conditions. They changed what it means to be a laborer. Could one person do that? No way. And now the mantle is passed to us. The minute a project is announced, the fight is on. We're going up against a great evil, greedy profiteers who want to rip us off, just like they did way back when. We fight back when we speak out in City Hall and convince our local government to hire responsible contractors to build our schools and hospitals. We fight back when we vote for pro-labor candidates and when we advocate for laws that make it easier to join a union. We fight back when we bring new people into the movement. When politicians, developers, and contractors conspire to rip off American workers, we organize. Just like our forebears who built this union in 1903, we're kicking butt and taking names all over North America because we are our own protectors. And when we stand together, we have the power to change the world. Get involved with your local union today. You're a member of LIUNA, which means we got your back through thick and thin in every season of your life. It starts before you even step foot on a job site, with registered apprenticeships that pay you to learn life-changing skills. Before you know it, you're eligible to earn employer-paid benefits from one of our health and welfare plans. We're talking resources to protect you and your family for the long haul. A few years later, the kids are all grown up, you're happy and healthy thanks to our kick-ass health insurance, and you're safe and sound thanks to our safety programs. It's time to retire, baby. That's where our pension programs come in. While you've been putting in the work, your LIUNA pension has been growing. So when it's time to cash out, you'll get a payment every month for the rest of your life. It never runs dry. You work hard and you deserve the best, but no one flew in and handed these benefits to us. I'm just a metaphor, a symbol of your power.
Damn straight, they were hard won by previous generations of laborers. And now they're under attack. Shady politicians and greedy corporations are working hand in hand, trying to weaken unions so that they don't have to give us our fair share. But when we stand together, we have the power to stop them. We can protect our benefits by organizing like those before us. In our communities, at town halls, and at the ballot box. If you want to be a part of that fight, it's time to join Laborers Rising. Since we built all this ourselves from the ground up, all these member benefits can vary from state to state and province to province. Talk to your local to make sure you're taking advantage of all your union has to offer. Earn more, stay healthy, and retire early. That's the LIUNA difference. Feel the power. The holiday season is in full swing, and the good folks at Laborers Rising have been at work, making sure every neighbor has a coat and every tot has a toy. We're just like Santa if he cursed while slamming energy drinks. And you better believe we keep the giving going all year round. You can catch us organizing food drives, backpack drives, and donations to worthy causes, or using our skills to rebuild our communities. And we take that giving beyond our own backyards, too. When Hurricane Helene hit the southeast, LIUNA members brought supplies all the way from Minnesota and set up a mobile kitchen to feed first responders and families in need. Solidarity is what makes us prosper at work, but our responsibilities don't stop when we clock out. When people are hungry, kids are cold, or a neighbor's in a bind, laborers will step up and answer the call.
That's what Laborers Rising is all about. If you're feeling inspired to rise up and give back, it's time to join Laborers Rising. Head to laborersrising.org or contact your local union to get involved. Spread the joy. Feel the power.
We're here in Fairbanks, Alaska. We just got done with a tour of the North Slope, looking at the Willow and Pika projects. A lot of people make their careers from being on the slope, and that's how they take care of their families. I'm Jacob Howdeshow, the business manager of Labor's Local 942. Local 942, it came to fruition as a pipeline local and has kind of been focused on that ever since. You know, in Alaska, pipelines are lifelines.
I've worked just about every stretch of the pipeline from Prudhoe Bay all the way to Valdez. My name is Joey Merrick, and I'm the business manager of the Alaska Laborers Union, Local 341. I'm also the president of the Alaska Petroleum Joint Craft Council. Willow is a big oil development, and accessing it, we had to go through a tremendous amount of work to make that happen.
It starts from the very beginning, from the permitting process. We've advocated for permitting reform so that these projects can be funded and completed quicker. Many times we go to the EIS, so that's the environmental impact study, that any of these environmental groups that want the pipeline stopped, they use those EIS, the sounding board for why we shouldn't do a project.
For Willow, it was a solid 5 years of work that went in. We had to constantly go to hearings and testify, and our membership really stood large, and they were out there writing letters, talking in community meetings. At the end of the day, we got everybody in the legislature on board, every Republican, every Democrat, and that is unheard of. We had a lot of help from our international. At the very end of this, it required President Biden to approve it.
President Biden giving the green light to the ConocoPhillips Willow project today. This is a victory for proponents of the venture, saying it's a much-needed source of revenue and jobs for that remote region.
We don't go to the well for just anything. If we're asking the membership to get active, they know that it's for their own best interests because they know it's going to lead them to more work down the road, and that's the prize of all of it is jobs.
We've got a 20-inch line that we're working on. We're doing everything from stringing the pipe out to running the skids, shoes, insulation, and then helping put the pipe up into the rack. My name's Davey Kendon. I'm an executive board member and our current steward for this project. Laborers touch every inch of this pipe, from it coming into flow line to it getting insulated by them and then coming up here and us finishing it. There's a lot of support for this in Alaska, because it's a lot of what we here as locals depend on. It's good money, and I don't have to go out of state in the winter to go find work. It's a great thing for us as a country to be able to have this resource and be able to provide for ourselves. It's been an experience.
To see what our members and our locals and this region and the international did to create not one job, hundreds of jobs through one project. To me, that was a true privilege, to something to be part of that I just want to experience more of. I mean, that's the exciting part. Without the engagement of our membership, the Willow Project would have not happened. And I think that's a testament to our membership. Our members help change their own life.
If you're one of the great Americans building our roads or bridges, you've probably seen a sign like this one posted on your job site. And you might be wondering what a prevailing wage is. The prevailing wage is the rate of pay on public works projects. It's based on how much most people make in their area for each craft. The idea is that when you help build this great nation of ours, you should earn a fair wage and a middle-class life, no matter where you live. It makes it cost-effective for contractors to hire locally, so they don't bring in cheap labor from out of town. It's just common sense that taxpayer-funded projects should create good jobs with competitive wages and benefits for the people who actually live in the community. And the last thing our government should do is set up a scheme for labor crimes and worker exploitation. 96 years ago, during the Great Depression, Americans were desperate for work. Companies across all industries took advantage of the dire situation by lowering wages. Greed prevailed. Uncle Sam decided that he shouldn't take part in this race to the bottom, so the government passed the Davis-Bacon Act. The law requires that federally funded construction projects pay workers a prevailing wage. Soon after, FDR's New Deal pumped some much-needed cash into the veins of this nation. Laborers got to work building America's infrastructure, and we pulled the U.S. out of the Great Depression, proving that working people are the backbone of the entire economy. When the middle class does well, everyone does well. State legislatures took note, and about half of the states passed their own prevailing wage laws. They make sure contractors and subcontractors working on state-funded projects pay their workers right. Because why would state governments want to lowball their own people? Well, here's the rub. There are some real scumbags out there, certain dark money groups and anti-worker politicians, fighting to overturn these laws. They argue that you get paid too much. They claim that they could get it done for much cheaper if they didn't have to abide by prevailing wage laws or pesky labor standards. They want the federal government to determine the prevailing wage using a different set of data collected by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS. This would slash wages by almost 70% in some areas. It's a sneaky way of weakening the federal prevailing wage without having to face the backlash that would come with eliminating the Davis-Bacon Act. And they have been attacking state prevailing wage laws as well. In the past 10 years, 6 states have repealed their prevailing wage laws, and the results were predictable. Workers get paid less. Plus, these states are more likely to bring in out-of-state contractors with lower labor standards and out-of-state workers with less training. This leads to higher rates of injuries, and worse. But at least they save big on construction costs, right? Of course they don't. The state gets shoddy work that's expensive to fix, and all those tax dollars go elsewhere along with the jobs. And when you've got construction workers in the community relying on food stamps and government assistance programs, it ends up costing the taxpayer more money. The contractor may pocket more profit, but the taxpayer suffers in the long run, and the workforce gets screwed. That's why laborers have been fighting back. In 2018, when Michigan lawmakers nixed the state's prevailing wage law, working people took a stand. They voted them out of office and elected pro-worker candidates who reinstated Michigan's prevailing wage law in 2023. This year, Missouri laborers spearheaded a campaign to expand the prevailing wage law in St. Louis. It passed unanimously in February of 2025. Now, contractors that receive tax credits from the city of St. Louis will no longer be able to lowball workers by paying the minimum wage. And we are not going to stop there. Laborers will advocate for prevailing wage laws in every city and every state, because good-paying jobs are worth the fight.
This November, our rights, wages, and retirement security are on the line. Politicians who want to weaken unions and take what you've earned are running up and down the ballot. Every laborer must commit to taking one action to protect ourselves, our families, and our union. It's as simple as making a phone call.
A lot of brothers and sisters ask me how they can get involved in the election cycle. It's pretty simple. First things first, make sure you're registered to vote. Not only you, but make sure that your family and your friends and the people at your church, your brothers and sisters on the job site, take your phone out and call the 10 people in your phone that you know for a fact are likely not to cast a ballot in November. Call them up and tell them how they need to vote and help them make a plan to vote. 1 or 2 extra votes matters all the time.
Laborers don't vote red or blue. We vote LIUNA orange. Voting to protect our union is just as important as protecting our jurisdiction on the job site. So get yourself and your loved ones registered today. And talk to your union brothers and sisters about the issues you care about on your job site or at a phone bank.
When it comes to phone banking, it doesn't take up a lot of your time. It's an evening for a couple of hours. You call up other members of your union, so it's probably people you already know, and you're just quick letting them know, hey, these are the candidates that are supporting the things for us to keep and hold our jobs and our future for us.
You can shape your community by learning about local politics and joining a door-knocking campaign for a candidate you support. Choosing who sits in your town hall is just as important as choosing who sits in the White House.
I think it's exciting because you hear all different kinds of issues. Not only were we knocking doors trying to get the votes, but we were writing down genuine concerns of the community and trying to get back to them. So it was very exhausting, but it was exciting at the same time. And it felt good once we got in.
A lot of times people don't think about bottom of the ticket races, but those races are crucial to man hours. So getting involved early, always the way to go.
As laborers, we live in the trenches. We don't sit back and let elections happen to us. We dig in, we rise up, we take action. Those who threaten us need to know that if you come for one of us, you will fight all of us. Brothers and sisters, if you haven't already, it's time to get involved. It's time to join Laborers Rising.
"2024 was a historic year for LIUNA, increasing membership, announcing our maternity leave policy, growing Laborers Rising, and creating opportunities through transformative projects. In May, we held our first Organizing for Growth conference. Organizers from across North America met in Minneapolis to lay the groundwork for our march to 1 million members.
It's Minnesota, we're here, there's about 400 of us, and it's like a new day. Like everybody that I come across is like high-fiving, hugging. It's our time.
You don't have to be a spectator. You can actually get in the game.
Together, we will reach our goal of 1 million members.
In September, over 600 LIUNA sisters represented our union at Tradeswomen Build Nations with our largest turnout to date. That's where I had the honor of announcing LIUNA's paid maternity leave policy.
Today, we, along with our entire LIUNA General Executive Board, are so proud to announce we'll be addressing the #1 request by providing a maternity leave benefit for laborers.
Starting in 2025, laborers who take maternity leave will be able to receive up to $800 per week for up to 14 weeks. It was a monumental milestone in our goal to offer the most comprehensive benefits in the unionized construction industry.
This is going to change the game. We're going to get a lot more women into LIUNA.
Last year, thousands of you weighed in, and the Laborers' Bill of Rights was born. Shaped by your voices, these are the rights that every laborer should have.
Right to strike.
Their right to a workplace that's non-discriminatory.
The right to stop work.
These became the foundation for the next chapter of our activism. And throughout 2024, we began to fill the promise of Laborers Rising, that all members are heroes in their own communities. At the beginning of the year, we set a goal of 15,000 Laborers Rising volunteers. By the end of 2024, we had over 25,000 brothers and sisters signed up and ready to go. These activists built over 200 volunteer organizing committees. They help better their communities with food drives, charity events, and restoration projects. Leading up to the election, LIUNA volunteers knocked on 500,000 doors, made 150,000 calls, and visited 3,000 job sites on behalf of union-endorsed candidates. I had the honor of meeting thousands of you at job sites and locals across the United States and Canada. Through your feedback and our conversations, you shared what this union means to you and how we can continue to improve. In 2025, we'll continue to build an even better LIUNA. We'll redouble our efforts to become the mightiest building trades union with the best benefits and the most active members. We'll be relaunching The Laborer, a magazine with news and updates about your union. And I'll be back on the road, visiting more job sites and meeting the people who make this union great. You.
Project 2025 is the perfect plot to roll back workers' rights and enrich corporate fat cats. and I have brought you all here to say,
You idiots! It's called Project 2025.
Prepared by the Heritage Foundation, Project 2025 is a roadmap for a new Republican administration.
Former President Donald Trump has tried to distance himself.
Project 25. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it.
At least 140 Trump administration alumni helped create this document.
We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
We're supposed to be lurking in the shadows, not making headlines.
We hid our plan in a dense 900-page book. I thought American workers would be too stupid to read that much, let alone understand it.
Well, they're smarter than they look, and they actually vote.
We just have to deny we know each other, and Trump needs to keep playing dumb.
First, we get Trump back into power. Then we cut overtime pay, repeal prevailing wage laws, and end project labor agreements so those pesky union members can't get good paychecks anymore.
Sounds like more cheddar for me.
Soon, all workers will be made subjects of our corporate empire.
Well, well, well. If it isn't Fat Cat, my arch nemesis. Sorry to bust up your anti-worker book club, but I'm here to stop you.
Your LIUNA eye lasers are no match for our sinister plot. We have it backed up on PDF.
It's going to take a lot more than that to defeat us.
Good thing more and more laborers are signing up for Laborers Rising every day.
We got our orders. We got our marching orders. It's not that just one election, because elections come and go. It's about our organization. It's about Laborers Rising. Let's go, and let's go win this election.